So welcome to the show, Eric Asquino. For those who might not be familiar with your company, ACS Cloud Partners, will you tell me about what makes you guys unique as a master agency?
Sure. A couple things. One is longevity and with innovation. So we've been around for over 20 years, and it's not just the company itself that's been around, it's the employees. We have 5 channel managers that have been here for over a decade. We have several support managers that have been here for over a decade. So they built long-lasting relationships with our partners. They know where to go. They know, who they are. They know them personally. It's almost like a family environment. But we also focus on making sure that we are always innovating, right? We're always looking at the latest products. We're looking at stuff outside telecom. We just recently brought in several software providers so we can offer them as well with residual income. And we build a lot of tools. We also have, we have four full-time software developers on staff, and their whole job is just to make sure that we're building software that helps the agents, help our team internally, and give them the tools to make the customer experience better.
I loved your LinkedIn tagline. I don't have your LinkedIn profile up in front of me, but it said something like helping agents close business for over 20 years.
Yep.
And I love that you have that focus on innovation and you have software developers in-house. I mean, one of the age-old questions, that we always get, every agent gets is, the first question is, here's the address, what service is available? What can I get here? And I think you guys offer a really cool tool to answer that question.
Yep, that's some of our software that we build. So, we started with your traditional fiber lookup tool, just like there's a few others out there. The difference is we build it in-house. We maintain it in-house. We know the accuracy. If there's a problem, we fix it right away. That is not outsourced. We're not buying it from a third party. We're building it. So we have, I don't know, maybe over 100 direct connections or APIs out there now for fiber on net buildings, near net buildings, fiber paths, all that stuff. So we started there, and it truly is a great product to determine if there's fiber or coax or DSL or shared services there, right? But we took it a step further, and we started the pricing model. Right now, I think we have about just over 25 providers that we can price real time with.
Wow.
And that's not just internet, and it's also voice, it's also SIP trunks, it's also UCAS, SD-WAN, POTS lines. You can quote POTS lines anywhere in the country if you want. If you have an alarm line, you don't have to. It's super easy. You just click a couple buttons. A lot of agents don't spend a lot of time on those type of things. So we've even loaded that type of stuff in there. There's other masters out there that also offer like a pricing type tool. But we actually took it another step further, and we built a interactive tool that works with the customer. So the agent come in, they get the quote, they can send it to the customer. The customer will open it. They'll get notified when they open it. They can start to communicate back and forth every time they're in there. They can update the quotes real time. So if they're on the phone with the customer, they can see like, hey, this was just added, or I removed this. They can even put custom products in there if they have their own product and they want to add that in there. They can add it in themselves. Like if there's a maintenance charge, or if they're an MSP and they want to add a certain line item, they can add it in there. So it's a tool that they can control their quotes on, or all their RFQs directly with the customer. We've had some really successful wins where they've sent out this link. The agent forgot about it, and then all of a sudden, almost a year later, the customer opens up the link, the agent get notified, like, oh, this must be a live opportunity again. They ended up calling them up, and they happened to be talking to somebody else at that time, but they reeled them back in just because they were trying to reference an old quote. So there are things, and we want to look at that stuff and determine like, how are we helping the agent? And it's great for the customer because they have one location, one link that they get, a unique link that they can go in, see all their stuff, and they don't have to go back and forth on email and try to find old emails. So, and we're continually evolving that and adding more and more. Now we're building kind of a mini CRM on there so they can, keep it open. They put their close percentage and all that stuff. So, and we're building a full-fledged CRM and a marketing tool off of that as well. That should be by the end of the year.
Awesome. You guys are doing so much. I think the tracking on the proposal is super cool. And then just the speed of this whole transaction, like
Mhm.
every customer wants things quickly. So then every agent wants things quickly from your team. And if you can cut that time commitment down, you've given us part of our commodity back, which is really cool.
Yep,
You also
that's the goal.
mentioned that you guys bring on new providers, like different SaaS companies, and that's awesome because I think a lot of people are kind of unsure on who, which providers to bring on, but really the channel is growing like crazy because everybody wants to be a part of this, recurring revenue model. And it
Mhm.
seems like every SaaS company is now a channel company.
Yep.
So it's cool to see what else, like how else we can penetrate our existing customers and help them further and just be a more connected part of their business. So let me stop talking and ask you a couple other questions. So you've been in the industry a long time. I just kind of want to hear your opinion. Would you say that it's easier, more difficult, or like the same level difficulty to start and grow a telecom agency today as it was when you started in 2002? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's all of the above. It depends on what you're referring to. Obviously, 20 years ago, you had way less products, less revenue stream, but the products you were selling were a lot more. I mean, when we started, I don't know, T1s were $1,500 a month.
Yep.
And they went down to $900, and it's you don't have that same large, like a large order is slightly different than what was before, where the minimum orders were $1,000 back then. You also have inflation and all that. It's the big buzzword. So it's your cost of living is up versus what the products were. So you kind of have that disadvantage, but you have an advantage of way more products. So the average customer bill will be a lot higher if you have the knowledge and the will, the willingness to go out and offer all those products. And that's what we try to help our technology advisors or agents would. So, the same, I mean, the same is really the recurring revenue. I mean, that's been constant throughout, right? And if you started, if you started 10 years ago, 20 years ago, you built up that recurring revenue, and you're pretty good where you can grow. And, I think, those are the biggest things. I mean, it's always evolving. I mean, the channel it's just every 3 or 4 years, it seems like it just revolves itself, and
It
there's
does.
totally different products, totally different providers, and you just, as long as you're keeping up with it, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I kind of watched on the sidelines for like 6 years before I jumped in, and I just thought about it for so long. So, do you have any advice for people who are maybe looking to get into the channel, looking to become telecom agents? Like, what would you tell them as far as like what should they focus on? What's a best practice? Like any advice for people out there that are watching?
I think they need to plan it out. I mean, that's what we tell our newer agents or technology advisors. It's like, if you want to leave, a cushy direct job at wherever, right?
Hmm.
One of the big telecom providers, you need to plan for that. When are you going to do it? How much money are you going to be able to save up? How are you going to go about getting customers, right?
Exactly.
Work with somebody that's done it, right? And try to figure out, okay, what's the best plan here? What's the plan about? Am I going to be a social media person? After that, how am I going to get my leads? Or am I going to go door to door? Am I going to, pick up the phone and do it that way? Is it going to be more referral based? Am I going to go out and referral? So it really comes down to the plan. If you just go, well, I'm
Love
going
it.
to do it, and you really don't just not only write down the plan, but really think through it and make
Hmm.
sure that that's truly the plan that you want to go with. That's the only way you're going to be successful. That's the best advice, I would say. And just, make sure that you plan, like, it's going to be a few months before you start getting residual income. And, as long as you plan for it, it will work. It will all work out, if you have a good plan and you know what you're doing and you have the help. You make sure that you align with somebody that's going to help you along the way.
Definitely. I feel like I just asked myself that question because your answer is really the answer that I give when people ask me that question. So I like that we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just like a sort of fun question. I don't know if this is a fun question, but what's the best part about being in this industry, like being in the position that you're in? And what's your favorite part about it?
I mean, it's it kind of goes to what we just talked about, helping agents, whether they've been doing this for a long time or a little time, helping them kind of grow their own business. Like, I'm an entrepreneur and I like entrepreneurs. I like people that want to go out and, and start new things, start their own company, start their own, venture, whatever they're doing. Right. I'd like to see them grow. I mean, for me, that's exciting. That's exciting. And, as new and new products come out, I've seen a lot of older technology advisors kind of reinvent themselves where,
Yeah.
hey, I was a phone system guy, I was selling PRI lines, SIP trunks, and maybe not even SIP trunks, maybe just POTS lines. And now they're out there selling all these, these different softwares and SaaS products and UCaaS and CCaaS and everything else, right? And they're out there selling that. It's like, wow, I remember you 10 years ago and you were just
Yeah.
selling these small PBXs or key systems and that. So that's what I like about it. I see the transition to different agents, whether they're starting or they've been around for a while, and helping them.
Awesome. I love it. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with me and sharing all this with our community.